The Oracle Network.
Hey, Michael, Are you recording?
Mm-hmm.
Also, what is it that you call a pinky toe again?
How would you describe your pinky toe? Like, where is it?
It's that one on the end.
No,
What is that?
You guys, the other
Well,
day.
you have two of them. If it's on the end, it's either on the far left or the far right.
Okay, stop rolling your eyes because you're so in the wrong here.
He stubbed his toe, and I said, which toe? And he said, the one all the way at the end on the far right. And I was like, do you mean your pinky toe?
Yeah, the little one. Like,
Who describes their pinky toe
It's
that
like
way?
so many more words than necessary.
You're such an alien.
yeah, I probably have a condition.
Hey, friends.
Hey, guys. Welcome. I'm Abby.
And I'm Shauna.
And this is Anxious.
And a fade.
And we're here with Michael the alien.
Or, yeah.
And he makes us anxious.
Because he's weird.
And he's an alien. And we're a podcast, and we talk about, conspiracies and ghosts and all kinds of things.
True crime. Ghosts, you said already. Aliens. All the things.
Yeah. If it's your first time, welcome. If it's not, hey. Thanks. Welcome back.
Yeah. So, it's your turn, Abby.
This is my turn.
Yeah. So, what made you anxious or afraid this week?
Well, okay. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the wrist.
You got to update us.
The wrist saga.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so I have to get surgery to fix both of them. We're going to do my right first, and it's moving a lot faster than I had prepared for. Surgery is coming up pretty quickly, and I'm going to be in a cast for probably at least a month, I think. And
That's your dominant hand.
they're going to do my right first because it hurts the worst, and they're going to take a little hunk of bone out of there and just put them back together with a plate.
Sounds so appetizing.
So weird. So hopefully it fixes my wrist, and hey, maybe I should post those x-rays at some point. Those are fun to look at.
Oh, hell yeah.
So everyone can see my jacked up bones.
Yep.
So yeah, that's happening. I'm nervous for it, but hopeful that it will be good.
Yeah, you'll be in a lot less pain, for sure.
Shauna's going to be my nurse. She already said sponge baths and...
Okay, right? you keep adding that, but sure.
She's explicitly asked for it, and she said she's going to make me all my meals, and...
Sure.
Yeah, but it'll be fine, and but because of that, we are going to have to take a little break.
Yeah, because if you can't use your hands...
I can't type.
You won't be able to do nothing.
I'm not going to be able to do a lot of things that require two hands, or really anything that requires two hands. So we are going to be taking a little break-a-rooney. Probably at least a couple weeks. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Kind of depends on healing and all that.
Sure. I'll probably come back with maybe an extra one here or there, but...
Yeah, we're going to try.
We're going to figure it out.
We're going to try and make some content for you guys.
Yeah, maybe you can email us some stories too.
Yeah, we would love to do a listener episode. So if you're feeling, generous and you want more content, and maybe you want that content to be something you wrote, what?
Yeah, and we'll talk about you on air. Hello.
I mean, someone in New York might hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so send us your stuff. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was my anxious this week.
Yeah, we found all that out, and it's happening fast, but I'm glad it's happening.
Yeah, it's happening on March 31st. And today is March 13th.
Ooh.
Oh, gross. And I have to get a COVID test. They're going to touch my brain.
Oh, my gosh.
Ew.
Yeah, I can't wait to tell me how that's all going to feel.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Ugh.
I can just tell. But what about you, Shauna? What made you anxious or afraid this week?
Okay. I feel like a bad cat mom. I'm a bad cat mom.
You're not a bad cat mom.
I know, but I feel like one because Lou, my big boy.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this earlier this week. He's known to have what do you call him? Is it dingle or?
Oh, I called them dingleberries.
Dingleberries. Yeah, he's always had them. And I was just not gonna clean that literal shit up.
He has little poops that just stick to his butt.
Yeah, and it's not really like on his fur. It's like actually on his butt. So I'm like, I don't want to hurt him or anything.
Yeah,
they're always different. I'm like, that's just a problem. Oh well.
Oh well.
I mean, and when I took him to the vet once, they were like, oh, maybe something's wrong with his like gland or something. So I was like, oh no, it's like, you know, because he's inbred or something. So like whatever. But then finally I realized maybe I should, because it looks like it's the same one.
Yeah.
And so I finally got enough courage to like hold him down.
Oh god.
And just take a washcloth and go for it. And it was gross.
Yeah.
It was terrible.
I'm sure.
But he didn't meow. So that makes me think it wasn't hurtful, but who knows? But
probably like, thank God.
Right? Because I think he's too fat to like clean him.
To get it around there. Yeah. He just doesn't care.
Or I don't know. But it's been a couple days now. He definitely poops every day and nothing sticks. I'm like, oh no, I should have cleaned you so long ago, my boy.
Poor baby. But is he good now?
He's good, yeah. I mean, so far, nothing else, but he's always been happy and full of food. And
no new dingleberries to speak of?
Not yet. It's been like 3 days. I'm surprised, and now I feel bad.
You know, he's like such a boy cat. He just does not. I feel like he just doesn't care.
Nah.
He's like, this is what I am.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah, take it or leave it.
This is me.
You love me. You love me. You know it.
Anyways.
Anyway, do we have anything else we want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Okay. Well, I guess it's my turn to tell a story.
Please. Are we going to be traumatized?
No.
Oh, good, because I'm still recovering.
I know. This time I promise. No one's going to lose. Well, I hope no one loses sleep. But I was laughing because we're actually recording 2 episodes today, you guys. So this is the second we recorded Shauna's earlier today.
Mm-hmm. 2 fair.
And it's funny because I had a weird thought earlier this week where I was kind of scrambling to pick a case, and I was like, man, I hope that Shauna and I don't pick the same case. And I like almost never worry about that anymore because we almost never do. We don't even have to ask anymore. We just somehow instinctively never pick the same case. And when you started talking about your case, you were saying it was an Oregon local case. I almost shit my pants because I am also doing an Oregon.
Oh my gosh, but we've done that before. Like, oh my gosh, we didn't know we were doing kind of like a same theme or something. Same
theme, and there's some parallels to your story as well that I was just like, oh, this is weird.
Oh, that's weird. Okay, tell me everything.
Okay, so yes, this time hopefully this case won't give you nightmares. It's very unlike me. But today I thought I would share with you a local Oregon case right out of our beautiful city of Portland.
Portland. Okay.
Yes. Throwing one out for the local homies. But it's not going to be a true crime case. Today we're going down spooky, spooky lane. And we're going to be looking at a bona fide haunted house.
Oh, a haunted house. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, technically it's a haunted mansion.
Get out of town. I have goosebumps because you don't even know if it's the same. Oh God, here we go. It is the same. What is it? Just tell me so I can tell you.
Oh my God.
Tell you something.
Okay. Today we're covering the haunted Pittock Mansion.
Paddock or whatever. Yep.
What do you have to say?
Okay, so I wasn't going to do an episode on it, but I was literally telling Chad because it's been a year of like quarantine. I'm like, we got to go somewhere or something because I'm just dying to get out.
Yes.
And we miss Portland. We always go to Portland for concerts, but we're like, okay, so concerts are not a thing. What can we do in Portland? Because we enjoy Portland. And so I was like, let's go to the garden. Like, haven't been to the garden. And I was like, Chad, there's also a haunted mansion right by there. And I really want to go to that.
Yes.
And he was like, oh, yeah, I think I've heard of it. And it was the
Pittock Mansion.
It's that mansion. And I want to go to there. And now I'm going to learn all about it. And now I'm excited.
You're about to learn all about it. And you're going to love it even more. And now I really want to go. So we should make it a couples group trip.
Oh, my God. I would love that idea. I do love that idea.
Michael might be the only one who wouldn't love that idea because old things and haunted things aren't his thing, but
I don't like gardens.
Oh, I love going places and being skeptical and cynical and that. So
it's still history.
Yeah. He's just gonna walk around and scoff at everything.
I'll be a party pooper and I'll enjoy it.
Yeah. Michael, our resident hater, but okay, the haunted Pittock Mansion.
I'm stoked.
So I was gonna ask if you heard of this place, but clearly I don't need to ask you that.
Nope.
But it is absolutely stunning. Like, have you actually seen what it looks like?
Like maybe just the outside of it.
Okay. I would live there in a heartbeat.
Oh, nice.
Even if it is haunted. But before we talk about the mansion too much, which claims to be one of the most haunted houses in the U.S., which is a tall order.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Let's first talk about the namesake of the home, Mr. Henry Louis Pittock.
Pittock.
I'm pretty sure it's Pittock.
How's it spelled?
Pittock.
Yeah.
Pittock?
No.
Pittock!
Sounds like a bird.
Pittock. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
And if you thought to yourself, gee, that sure sounds like a white guy, you would be right.
Absolutely.
Henry Louis Pittock was born in London, England. London, England in 1835 to parents Frederick and Susanna Pittock. He was the third of 8 children. His father, Frederick, had actually traveled to America in 1825 to help his father establish a shoe shop in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and he eventually moved back to London, where he met his wife Susanna and learned the printing trade. When Henry was just 4 years old, his father decided America was just too cool to stay away from and decided to pack up his family and peace out of the motherland in 1839. The family relocated to Pittsburgh, where Henry's father took up the printing business once again and remained in that job for the rest of his life. Henry recalled spending countless hours at his father's printing shop, and by age 12, he was an apprentice.
Get that money young.
I don't think you get paid as an apprentice.
Oh.
That's just like child labor.
Yeah, you're right. Silly me.
They're like, here, take all this toxic ink and rub it all over these stamps. Perfect.
You're fine.
You got small hands. You can fit in there. He was particularly good at typesetting, which was an amazing job for anal retentive perfectionists back in the day. Do you know how like old newspapers were made, or like printing press, like old?
Not really, no.
I took a typography class and we kind of learned about it. It's kind of fascinating, and especially if you were like super perfectionist, you might enjoy this job. But you had all these little metal letters and symbols that you would have to assemble in straight lines of text, and then paragraphs, and so you had a whole page of newspaper, but it's just like the stamp basically. Then you ink it and you press it onto paper.
Stamp.
Yeah.
The time that it must take.
Can you imagine? No wonder like it wasn't, I mean, God, that would take so long.
So long. Seems like only Virgos would enjoy that, because apparently we love to be perfectionists.
I immediately thought, I was like, this is a Virgo job for sure.
Yeah.
Do you think you would like that job?
No. Sounds like it would take me all day to do one page.
No. So yeah, everything's hard in the olden days.
Yeah.
Henry would eventually grow up and attend the Western Pennsylvania University, but his dreams began to lie somewhere far away in the West. After reading about all the riches and adventures to be had in California and Oregon, Henry and his brother Robert decided to follow their dreams and set out for adventure on the Oregon Trail.
Nice.
The pair departed on April 1st, 1853, with all of their worldly possessions and joined the Love and Stewart wagon train bound for Oregon. And I looked up the Love and Stewart train because I was like, are these my ancestors? And I couldn't find anything about it.
Oh my gosh, wouldn't that be a trip if it was?
Right? What if I found someone that looked just like me? Like an olden times.
Wouldn't that be weird? Picture. You're like identical, like I'm just, same hair.
Churning butter.
It's like your past life. Oh my God.
That's me. So while their trip wasn't free of hardships, it was a cakewalk compared to the Donner Party until they crossed the Snake River, which Michael and I actually rafted that river. So that's right. Crazy. I can't imagine doing that with a fucking wagon. Nope.
Heavy ass wagon.
No thanks. So they crossed the Snake River, but then their group wanted to split up. Some of them wanted to go with some travelers they had met who were going to travel through the pass and into the Willamette Valley, which is where we live. And the rest of the group planned on maintaining their course to Portland.
Nice.
Henry's brother Robert actually decided to go with the group heading to the Willamette Valley, while Henry decided to stay the course, which ended up being the correct decision. The group his brother was with would eventually get lost in the mountains, and they would have to be rescued.
Oh, no.
I know. Hopefully, they all made it out alive, but I couldn't find any details on that.
Let's hope so.
Henry Pittock would later say that he entered the city of Portland, quote, barefooted and without a cent, looking for work. Although at the time, Portland was still like a muddy logging town.
Interesting.
So he probably didn't stick out much. It's hard to imagine Portland.
It's so
at
city.
that time, but it was literally like a muddy, like dirt roads logging town. And I think that's where the stump town comes from, because they were talking about there's just cut stumps everywhere because they had to clear the land.
Makes sense.
Stump town.
Look at us learning about our own stuff.
I know. I always see stump town on everything. I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Is that like a coffee brand?
Yeah, it's always on coffee. But there's a bunch of coffee.
Makes sense though.
Yeah. Oh. Huh. I could be completely wrong. This is my speculation. All right. So with no money and no prospects, Henry decided to look for the only job he knew how to do. And there were 2 newspaper publications in Portland at the time. There were the Times and there was the Oregonian.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yes. Henry attempted to get a job at the Times, but after a few tries with no success, he turned his efforts to the Oregonian, and in November of 1853, Henry finally procured himself a job. He worked there for room and board at the Oregonian, and T.J. Dreyer was the man who started the paper 3 years prior in 1850. He said that he could eat with him at his house, which joined the print shop, and Henry's bed was a cot that was placed in between the large type cases.
Oh, no.
So he had to, like, sleep in the shop.
That's a bummer.
I know, and like that was
don't escape.
I know, and he's not getting money on top of that. That's just like, this is your life.
Damn.
Henry would later say he had never slept more comfortably in his life than on that cot.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he said he was probably comparing it to like
ground.
He was sleeping on the ground for a while, you know.
Yeah,
cot probably seems pretty nice. So
I mean, they didn't have nectar like we have now.
No, our beautiful nectar mattresses.
Memory foam fanciness.
Sponsor us. So let's see here. Yes, Henry would work at the Oregonian, sleeping in that cot for the next several years. His tireless spirit and work ethic would eventually get Henry promoted to foreman of the paper in 1858, and he became partners with Dreyer in lieu of more pay. The pay he did receive was sporadic, and Dreyer often didn't have the money to pay him. In 1960, Dreyer was chosen as one of the electors on the Lincoln presidential ticket, and after Lincoln was elected, he became the U.S. Commissioner in the Kingdom of Hawaii. Because like at that point it wasn't a state, which is like blows my mind.
That's weird to think about.
Right?
Weird.
So crazy.
Okay.
History. So because of this, and because of the large amount of money he still owed to Henry in back wages, Dreyer mortgaged the ownership of the paper to Henry Pittock. Eventually, after no further payments were made, the ownership of the paper transferred to Henry, and he was now the proud owner of the Oregonian.
Cool.
Also in 1960, Henry Pittock would marry Georgianna. That's such a pretty long name. Georgianna Martin Burton. She was born in 1845 in Clark County, Missouri. Her family would also travel to Oregon via the Oregon Trail. And on the way there, a young Georgianna was abducted by a group of Sioux Native Americans.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but thankfully was returned unharmed to her parents. So I guess she just got a fun story out of it.
Wow.
They said apparently they wanted to keep her because she rode her own pony and she was a really skilled rider. So they were like, she could be useful.
She has potential.
Yeah, and she was like, no thanks. And they were like, that's fine. Cool. Let's see here. So her family settled in Milwaukee, Oregon, where her father started one of the first flour mills in the district. He would later relocate the family to Portland in 1855, where he would become an architect and contractor, helping to construct many of the first buildings in the city. Georgianna would go on to be educated at the Portland Academy and Female Seminary, a school administered by the Methodist Church. Sounds fun. This is where she would kind of have like a fire lit within her for community service and helping others, which would follow her throughout her life.
Good. Nice.
Yes. So she was riding her horse and buggy past the office of the Oregonian and happened to see a handsome, dark-haired man who seemed just as interested in her as she was with him.
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello. And the pair hit it off, and they were married in 1960. And they would go on to have 9 children.
Yikes. That's a lot
Everyone
of
has so many children back then. So many.
There's no birth control, I guess, really.
I know. I just can't imagine.
Nope.
So they raised those children in a home Henry had built on a block of land he purchased in the city of Portland for just a few $100. Right, just the prices. And he named it Pittock Block.
Nice.
To say that Henry and Georgianna were a power couple would be an understatement. They both became well-known and successful in their own right, essentially living the American dream.
They're like the Portland celebrity couple.
Yeah, they're like Portland socialite. Like, they become one of the it couples.
They're it.
They're influential AF. So, Henry took the Oregonian from being a weekly paper to a daily paper. He invested in news presses and greatly increased the amount of subscribers to his paper. Even people outside of the city of Portland began subscribing. He also put most of the money they made into paying for all of the latest scoops, determined to make his paper just as big as and official as a Californian publication.
Ooh.
Because that rivalry has always been there.
Always.
The paper really found popularity during the Civil War. It's just like these things that are happening.
It's hard to picture us that far back.
I know. It's like that Oregon was a thing during the Civil War. Like, I forget those times match up.
Weird.
So it found popularity during the Civil War when printing the newest and latest updates on the war.
Whoa.
And obviously, if you have the best, latest news, you're going to sell the most papers.
Oh, for sure. Especially during a war. Everyone wants to know everything about it.
Give me the scoop. Henry got in good with a guy who worked at the telegram office, and when news of Lincoln's assassination came in, the friend concealed the news from the other newspapers until Pittock was able to get the story out first.
Can you imagine living through that? Like, the president is fucking Abraham Lincoln, and then boom, he dead.
And he's assassinated. Wow. No, I can't. That's just crazy times. And you probably don't hear about it until like days later sometimes.
Right,
because of the times.
Technology and stuff. Weird.
Real weird. So yeah, I mean, newspapers did sneaky shit all the time. They still do. So even though finances became dodgy at times, Henry always paid his employees and gradually paid off the debts of the previous owner. He was able to grow his paper and outlasted several competitors over the years, turning the Oregonian into a successful and lasting paper, which still runs today.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, I look at Oregonian articles for research all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up with them every day.
Yeah, it's wild.
Remember having to look up like the weather on the newspaper or movie times on the newspaper? Like,
or having to call the movie theater for your movie times.
Oh my gosh, what was one I just read recently? Like, kids nowadays will never know what it's like to order pizza from a phone book. Do you fucking remember that? Pizza pipeline.
Pizza pipeline.
Isn't that just so crazy?
There's so many things that I think about. I'm just like, oh God.
It's extra weird.
We're old.
Yep. Continue.
Anyway. All right. So once Henry got a solid footing in his finances, he started investing all over the place. Mm-hmm. He invested in paper and lumber mills, helping organize one of the first paper mills built in the Pacific Northwest, and would later build 2 more mills. These helped supply his newspaper company, so it was a win-win for him. He invested in banks, real estate, sheep ranches, silver mining, railroads, and he was a stockholder in the Portland Trust Company. He was also apparently a Freemason as well.
Get out of
When you started talking about Freemasons, I was like, wait, what was the date? What was the time? Was Henry at these meetings in the cave?
Is it 1938? Was he there first?
No, this is, he would be before. Because right now he was born in the 1800s.
That makes sense. I mean, that's only when they started going to the cave for the meeting, so it's not like when Freemasons existed.
Right, but what was the top tier? He was that in his lodge.
Yeah, Master Mason.
He was a Master Mason in his lodge, I'm pretty sure.
This is a weird connection.
I know.
Whoa, look at us. We had no idea.
I know.
We don't talk. Okay, that's funny.
I know. I was having to keep it to myself.
Oh my gosh, you're probably like freaking out on the inside.
I was like, I'm glad she's talking about the Masons because I wrote that, but I didn't want to go into what the Masons were.
Oh my gosh, I did it before you the last episode, and here we are now understanding what that means.
Go back and listen to that one for an update on the Masons. We still never figured them out.
Nope.
All right, so he was he was a part of a lot of clubs. I didn't write them all down, but this guy was involved in
everything.
Much.
Jesus.
The Mazamaz I read. I think I've heard of them in Portland. Just all kinds of weird stuff. He was also an avid outdoorsman and mountain climber, being credited as one of the first to climb Mount Hood. Huh. Even as an elderly man of 70, younger men struggled to keep up with him on hikes. They would beg him to stop to rest for a while, and he would cheerfully say, quote, "The man who stops to rest never gets anywhere."
Damn, brutal. Okay.
He's like, get up. He kind of reminds me of Michael's grandpa. He's like this little old man who is like, he could probably out hike all of us. He still does.
He's just so active and
he
does stuff.
We on the river rafting trip I was talking about, he would be one of the people steering the freaking boats when he wants to, and he's like old man.
Yeah, that's right.
Crazy. All right. So, are you ready to fall in love with his wife?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm ready for it.
Because she's really cool.
Is she a queen?
Yes.
Okay.
So, Georgianna was also a very busy and accomplished person in her own right. Besides having and raising 9 kids, which is already a tall order.
Oh my gosh, for real.
Georgianna was very passionate about helping others less fortunate than her.
Oh, bless her soul.
I know. She knew how it was to come from a working class family with little money to their name. Mm-hmm. A lot of her charity work was done through the Unitarian Church, and she helped found the Ladies Relief Society, and she was also the president of that, which sold baby clothes and eventually established a baby home in 1888. Mm-hmm. And this home would clothe, feed, and care for needy and orphan children, and often took in children whose parents had died on the Oregon Trail.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah, that's really sad. Oh. She also helped establish the Fruit and Flower Daycare Center in 1906, which was the very first daycare in Oregon specialized in caring for children of working mothers.
Wow.
Get it, girl.
She was ahead of her time.
Women supporting women.
Yes.
I love it. According to OregonEncyclopedia.org, Georgianna also served on the advisory board of the Boys and Girls Aid Society, which ran a children's home for abused or orphaned children eligible for adoption.
Did she just like help all children with all problems?
She's basically an angel.
Wow.
Henry would support his wife's work by running ads in his newspaper featuring the children who needed adoption.
Oh my God, you better.
Yeah, and he would write little profiles on them. Oh, so cute. The couple were both supportive and worked for the women's suffrage movement in Oregon.
Yes.
And were very supportive of a woman's right to vote.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
They're fucking slaying.
They are. Georgianna was a founding president and chairwoman of the finance committee of the Portland's Women's Union, which was established to help women become self-sufficient because we don't need no mans, bitch.
We are independent women. We don't need you.
God, so cool.
Oh my gosh, I love her.
I know, I'm in love with her. Georgianna played a key role in establishing the Martha Washington Hotel in 1917 for single working women. She organized teas, bake sales, lectures, and bazaars to generate income for her causes. She also controlled her own money and maintained a personal bank account. Yes,
oh my
bitch.
God.
I love her. That is so unusual for the times.
Yes, it is. God, wow.
She's so cool.
She was just like, no, bitch, I don't care. I'm living in the olden days. I'm doing my own shit.
I have my own agenda. I have my own money.
She like knew that men don't figure it out very well. So
men don't own me. I will do my own thing. Like, and he was
especially the money, taking care of your own money. That's huge. Really.
I know. And he was so supportive of her too, which is just.
So he was with the times too. Yet support your wife, support your women. They are your queen. You make sure they flourish. God.
Preach. Preach. So yeah, they're just like a beautiful progressive couple.
I love it.
For the times. I mean, I'm sure
of course they're the couple.
Yes. Just like mama and daddy Portland.
Yes.
Okay, so you know how Portland has like a real thing for roses?
Yes.
So they have the Rose Garden and they have the Rose Festival. Mm-hmm. Well, our girl, Georgianna, absolutely loved roses and founded the Portland Rose Society in 1888 as a benefit for her church, and they held a competition for the year's best homegrown roses. The very first competition was held in her own yard, and from this event, the giant Portland Rose Festival would be born.
I love it. She fucking invented the festival.
I know, in her fucking yard.
Okay, so now we need to go to this festival.
Yes.
It's a must happen.
I've never been, and like, why? We live here.
I know. Why haven't I been to the Rose actual garden? What's wrong with me?
I don't know.
I bet that's beautiful. Imagine all the pictures.
It's probably because we haven't been able to go anywhere for so long, and now we're like, we didn't appreciate life.
We didn't.
We didn't.
We didn't at all. Hopefully that opens all up soon. I don't know. COVID.
Things are hard. It's fine.
It's hard.
Okay. All right. But don't they seem just so refreshingly progressive for the time?
Oh, absolutely.
And also for being so rich.
Yes. So, use your money wisely.
I wish more rich people like this existed.
This is how you do it.
I'm sure they had their faults, but man, that's a pretty impressive list of accomplishments.
Yeah.
Now, you're probably wondering when this grand old mansion would come into the picture.
Yeah.
But first, let's take a break.
Okay.
Welcome back. It's time for MTV Cribs Historical Edition.
Okay.
All right. So, the Pittocks lived in the same quaint house they had built on Pittock Block for decades. I mean, this rich-ass couple is living in this basic-ass house.
Yeah, it's surprising.
Which is also, I kind of love that about them. They're just so humble.
I love it.
And they just watch the city grow up around them on this block. Like, it's getting developed around them.
Yeah.
And they start to feel a little boxed in.
Ooh.
And by this time, Henry was 73. Okay. And Georgianna was 64. But now they're rich. And the Pittocks decide to build their dream house on a hill overlooking the city they loved.
Oh.
The Pittocks purchased a forested 46-acre plot, which is located on Imperial Heights, and hired Oregon-born architect Edward T. Fulks to design and build it. They picked a spot with fantastic panoramic views of Portland. You can see the Willamette River and the Cascade Mountains.
Beautiful.
I saw different reports on when the construction began. Some said 1909 and some said 1912. In any case, it took a while to complete. And it was finished in 1914.
Okay.
The mansion was built in the French Renaissance style on the exterior. So it had light tan sandstone walls and red roof tiles.
Ooh, fancy.
Yeah, but for the interior, many different styles were borrowed to complete the unique homes, such as Edwardian, Turkish, and Jacobean. Ooh, all fancy words.
Yeah.
Those all sound expensive.
And yeah, rich.
It was a whopping 16,000 square feet with 23 rooms, 6 bathrooms.
Whoa.
Yes, and even though it was a huge mansion, it was designed for a family to live there.
Oh my gosh, that's so many rooms and so many bathrooms.
I know. I was like, well, a rich family. I mean, I think they...
And 9 children.
Well, by this time, all of their children are grown, but I think...
Oh, I guess you're right, duh.
Yeah, but they're still designing it for some of them, their family, to live with them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah.
Might as well.
Duh.
I'll move in. I'll be your family. Let me live there, please. The second floor had 3 suites, which all had 3 rooms, complete with private bathrooms and a sleeping porch at the end of each wing.
A sleeping porch?
Yes. A sleeping porch is kind of more of a southern thing, but like back in the day, people thought that, you know, like influenza and like tuberculosis were a big thing.
Yeah.
And they thought like fresh air
That's true.
was like healthy. And so sleeping porches were popular because it was like a walled in like room, but you could open all the windows and all the fresh air could come in, so you could sleep there during the summer, or like,
I see,
which would be kind of fun.
Yeah, because
that'd be nice. So it keeps it cool and
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And of course it's fancy like everything else.
Of course.
So according to OregonEncyclopedia.org, in Henry Pittock's quarters, his bathroom was built in a turret, which is like one of those rounded little pointy castle towers.
Okay.
You'll understand when you see the picture of the house.
Okay, sure. I'm sure.
But it does have turrets, which is like so fucking fancy. So yeah, in his bathroom, he's in this little tower, and it had grand views of the Cascade Mountains, which is just probably like the most majestic poo he ever had.
I mean, it's your throne, so might as well look at the city while you do that.
You're just gazing at your land.
Yeah.
I love it. Let's see. So he also had this really crazy shower. So he basically had like a human car wash built. It was a hydraulic shower system consisting of horizontal spray nozzles so that you would get sprayed from every angle.
I kind of love that.
Right. Doesn't it kind of remind you? It reminds me of that scene in Casper the Friendly Ghost with Christina Ricci. When they go to find the dad's like secret lair or whatever. And they get in this like cart. And they're like going through this tunnel, and it does all of like, they brushes their teeth and like gives them a shower. Do you remember that part?
Vaguely.
That's what it reminds me of, but it's all like automated.
It makes me think of, what is it, like Shark Tales, where they're actually in the car wash.
Oh,
yeah. I love that movie, by the way. That is an underrated movie.
I haven't seen it in a long time. I don't remember anything about it.
Oh my gosh, I remember it being so funny.
Well, anyway.
Go watch Shark Tales.
Crazy hydraulic shower. I did see pictures of it. It's not as cool as I wanted it to be in my brain, but it still is pretty wild.
Because we're picturing like modern showers, but
I'm thinking of the Casper Tunnel, but it wasn't that.
I would totally shower that way.
It was, yeah, it's pretty wild. I mean, now they have like 360 showers, which is pretty modern. So it's kind of like, seems like it was kind of ahead of the times.
Oh, for sure.
Let's see here. What else? Amazing bathroom aside, one of the most stunning features of the home is the central stairwell, which occupies 1/3 of the mansion space and connects 3 stories.
Dang.
It is a beautiful stairwell. Okay. It is massive.
Ooh.
The rooms all break off from the central point, kind of like spokes on a wheel, and the floors are marble. Oh. And the railing is made of eucalyptus.
Oh my gosh.
It's so fancy. All these words.
Yeah.
The 3rd floor has 4 servants' rooms, Henry's office, and the biggest room in the whole house, which was the kids' playroom.
Oh, they get the biggest room.
Yeah, isn't that precious?
Oh.
They made it big enough for the kids to ride tricycles in.
Oh, precious.
They're probably like the most cool-ass grandparents.
They really are.
Let's see. They also, in the house, had a carved, beautiful library. Yes, please. An oval billiard room and adjoining round card rooms. These rooms are crazy. I took the virtual tour because I'm a fucking
oh my gosh, I want
dork.
To do that.
It was amazing. And they have these like little tiny, but they're perfectly round rooms. They're just so cute, and I want to just hang out in one.
See, I think they do or used to do tours there, and
they do.
I want to walk through that.
Talk about it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
And I want to go.
It's only like $11.
Oh my god. We're doing it. We're gonna do it.
Yes.
Putting it in the universe. We're gonna manifest it.
Yep. Okay. So yes, cool little oval rooms that you would put like card tables in.
Cute.
They had a walk-in vault, a wine cellar, a round Turkish smoking room with a painted ceiling and Tiffany glazes, which was the coolest room in the whole house. That's my decision. It had like
the smoking room was?
Yes, the Turkish smoking room. Like the ceiling was this beautiful like mosaic. It was just amazing.
It sounds so fancy and beautiful.
Stunning.
Like, what room don't you have?
God, so rich.
We'll never know that life.
Rich. A formal Edwardian dining room with rich mahogany panels.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see. The construction of the rooms, yeah, I say this again, it was unique to most homes as well, with many of the rooms being round, which is not very common, I don't think.
No.
I also read a cool detail about the dining room, which was that a mirror on the west wall was positioned to show a reflection of Mount Hood, giving everyone sitting around the table a view of the mountain.
I just love that.
Isn't that so cool and thoughtful?
It's so clever.
God, people are cool. Whoever comes up with that kind of stuff. I'm just like, damn, good brain on you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. I also saw another cool detail about the entryway ceiling being lined with tinfoil as a nod to Georgiana's humble upbringings from when she used to save the foil from tea tins. My grandma lived through the Great Depression and she saved foil, like even when I was a kid.
Oh, I feel like my mom has, and I don't think that's a weird thing because I think I've seen it. So
yeah, it's just like a generational thing, though. I don't think kids our age think to save tinfoil.
No, and they always save like the produce bags and grocery bags. Like my dad's the same way. Like he doesn't like throw things away and waste things.
Yeah,
he's
we're
so
wasteful. Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's probably a good quality to have. But yeah,
sure.
I thought that was such a cute detail.
It is.
So thoughtful. So I think it'd be fair to say that a lot of thought went into the design of the house. specifically into technical innovations of the time. They had carefully placed windows to allow for maximum daylight. The mansion had an elevator, indirect lighting, intercoms, a walk-in refrigerator, central heating, a dumbwaiter, and a central...
dumbwaiter? What?
I think that's like the dumbwaiter. Isn't that like the cubby hole that you pull up and down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You deliver food between floors in a house. It's not like
that's
a person that they're insulting. It's
dumbwaiter. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it just sounded just like, oh, they just throw in a dumbwaiter and then this.
They went and had a meal. The guy was an idiot. They hired him.
It's just like rude. God, you don't know nothing about him.
You're our new dumbwaiter.
Okay, because so there's so many floors. That's like you put the plate on the thing and then you like...
Yeah, like if you have groceries or whatever, you would put it in the that cubby hole and then pull it up the kitchen.
Very
if
nice.
If you're in a horror movie and you're a child, you hide in there.
Yeah.
And just a scary moment happens.
I get it.
Have you seen the movie Money Pit with Tom Hanks?
No.
Oh, dang it. They have a dumbwaiter and there's a raccoon in it.
Oh, scary.
Yeah, he pulls it up and then a raccoon comes out.
Okay, well, I learned something. I learn something all the time.
You learned what a dumbwaiter is.
Dumbwaiter.
I wasn't like expected to get stuck on that one. I was like,
Sorry.
wait, what?
I'm just like, that is what?
Okay. Yeah, they had one of those and a central vacuuming unit. So a lot of this is pretty modern, like
Holy shit, yeah.
pretty crazy. The estate has a 4-story gatekeeper's lodge and a 3-car garage with a chauffeur's apartment above.
Wow.
Renaissance style gardens include a terraced flower garden, a tennis court, and connections to Portland Park trails.
Oh, I love this.
You can actually hike through Forest Park to get to this place today. Still, it's like, so you can take this really beautiful hike up to this fucking mansion and then just look around inside of it.
I want to do that.
I know. They don't care if you're poor or sweaty or dirty. So yeah, the mansion, super dope. Sadly, though, Henry and Georgianna would only get to enjoy the mansion together for 4 short years.
Aww.
Before Georgiana's death on June 12th in 1918.
She died first.
Yeah,
That's
she
sad.
she passed in the home. I read in one source that she had a stroke, which caused her to be ill for some time, and then she ultimately passed from it. Henry Pittock was deeply affected by his wife and life's companion's loss, and he would pass in the mansion only a year later.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, they
Very
were
close
like
together.
Yes, very, very close, obviously. Henry Pittock, true to form, was at the office working until 2 weeks before his death. I mean, this guy's like in his 80s.
Wow, workaholic.
Retire, man. So yeah, he was working up to 2 weeks before his death, January 28th, 1919. He had fallen ill with influenza-like symptoms, and he was never able to recover. Shortly before his death, he asked to be brought to the window in his great mansion so that he could gaze at the spectacular view.
He just loved that view.
He just loved it so much. And then he died the next evening peacefully in his sleep. So that's nice.
That's nice. That's the way to go.
Yeah. When his estate went into probate, it was valued at $7.8 million, which is about $116 million today.
Whoa.
And his estate was the largest in Oregon's history up to that point.
I bet, yeah.
Crazy. And he started from nothing.
Yeah, that's what's also really great.
Literally like the shiny gold American dream. Like he did it.
He did it.
They did it.
Yeah.
They did it.
He fucking did it.
Because she was cool too.
She did a lot.
Yep. So the family continued to live in the mansion until 1958 when Eric Ladd, who had lived in the mansion for 4 years, and Peter Gottenbein, a Pittock grandson who had been born in the house.
Ooh.
Right?
That's, ooh.
I know. So they put the estate on the market, but they couldn't sell it. I can't imagine many people could afford to buy
that much money.
And also, that would be so much upkeep. You'd have to hire a staff.
I mean, literally.
You couldn't be there by yourself.
You can't clean that house on a weekend.
No. On a weekend.
I mean, that's how we do.
Right. No. So it just sat vacant for 6 years and fell into disrepair from neglect and squatters.
Oh, no.
It would take a massive beating during the historic Columbus Day storm in 1962. Fun fact, the Columbus Day storm was also referred to as the Big Blow. Blowies. But for real, the storm was insane. I'm not really sure I've heard of this storm before, but it is considered the benchmark of extratropical storms and is one of the most powerful extratropical cyclones recorded in the U.S. in the 20th century.
Wow.
Nasty storm. And it hit the Pacific Northwest and the west coast of Canada. Its highest wind speed was a stunning 170 miles per hour.
Whoa, no way.
Yes, with wind speeds in Portland recorded at 116 miles per hour.
That's intense. You don't walk in that.
No, you'd be blown away.
Yeah.
46 fatalities were linked to the storm, and $230 million in damages were recorded.
Dude.
And that's 1962 money, so.
Yeah, right?
Back at the Pittock Mansion, the storm had ripped off a third of the pretty roof tiles, and trees were down everywhere. The windows had also been broken, allowing water to seep in and cause damage. And it was going to take a lot of money to repair the mansion. And the family didn't have it, or maybe they just didn't want to spend it. Mm-hmm. And the beautiful home was almost tragically turned into a subdivision. But the community of Portland couldn't stand to see that happen. So they fundraised for 3 months and pulled together $75,000 to help the city of Portland purchase the property as a historic landmark.
Nice.
The city agreed and purchased the home for, any guesses? It's particularly depressing for anyone living in our area looking for a home. Oh. Guess how much this mansion was? Guess how much it sold for in the 60s?
I don't know. I don't have a guess.
You have a guess, Michael?
Is it over $1 million?
No, it's actually upsettingly low.
Oh no. Is it like 200,000?
Just go ahead and tell me that.
400,000.
It's you were pretty close, Sean. It was $225,000
wow.
for that.
For that big ass mansion.
And probably the 45 acres, I think.
Whoa.
Oh, 225. Dude. You know what that buys you here today? It buys you a 1-bedroom shack. And you probably had to fight for that 1-bedroom shack between 6 other people.
It's ridiculous.
It's bad out there. All right. So the restoration began on the mansion and would take 15 months to complete, with some of the original builders coming out of retirement to work on the place once more.
Oh my gosh.
I thought that was special.
It is. Because if you think about it, some people, like, back in the day still know the people. Anyways.
I know. It's like decades later, too, and they're just like, yes, I will. So let's see here. The mansion opened to the public in 1965 as a museum and has been in operation ever since, even through COVID.
Okay, so then it's happening.
Yeah, from what I can see, you just have to like schedule it. I think you're
like a time, like
I think
a
you have
slot.
to like buy a ticket or something.
Yes.
Roughly 80,000 people visit the mansion each year.
Cool.
And apparently, it's an awesome bird watching spot.
Well, I mean, those views, right?
Those views. There's also lots of fun community events held at the mansion in order to raise money for its upkeep, because the place ain't cheap. I was listening to an episode of And That's Why We Drink.
Yep.
On this place.
Yep.
Yeah, and Em was talking about how one of their Christmas displays had a Darcel themed room.
Oh, it was Christmas. I was thinking it was Halloween, but Christmas is even better.
I think it was Christmas. I don't know. I think it was Christmas, but yeah, a Darcel themed room. And for those who don't know, Darcel is an amazing drag queen.
Yes.
And is in fact the oldest performing drag queen on the West Coast. And the venue, Darcel's, which has amazingly fun drag shows, is the longest running drag show venue on the West Coast.
Absolutely.
So go there if you're in Portland. You won't regret it.
We've been there 3 times now.
3 times. Shauna almost broke her ankle there once.
Definitely almost did.
We've been there for all of our bachelorettes.
It's been the best experience, though.
It was great every single time. I would go again.
You have so much fun. It's not even funny.
Such a sassy drag queen. They're all great.
And he's like in the Guinness World Records.
Yeah.
Like, he is the oldest drag queen.
He's literally in the record book. So he was also crowned in, I can't remember what the title was, but in something in like the Rose Festival, which made me laugh because like it all kind of ties together.
Totally. I love it.
Yeah. So crazy. Okay. So the mansion also had some brushes with Hollywood as well. A few movies were filmed there, including an 80s slasher film called Unhinged, which was so explicit that it was banned in some countries.
Oh, man.
The film Body of Evidence with Madonna and Willem Dafoe was also filmed there.
Was that also a creepy film?
I don't know. Didn't look it up. And the mansion became the finish line for the 13th season of Amazing Race.
Interesting.
How about that? So that's the history of the place. And now you're probably wondering about the haunted part.
Where the ghosts come in.
Here come the ghosties. Well, the two obvious ghosts are Mr. and Mrs. Pittock.
Yes.
But they also had a groundskeeper who apparently also died on the property and is said to haunt it.
Okay.
How crappy would that be to die at work?
Right.
They have to haunt your workplace?
Right.
Sad. Ever since the mansion opened to the public in the 60s, people have been reporting paranormal happenings. From what I read, the paranormal events taking place aren't like earth-shattering, but they are very consistent.
Cool.
Which is why people claim that this is one of the most haunted houses.
I mean, you love consistency. You gotta have it.
Gotta have consistency. But I don't think, from what I read, I think that's a pretty tall claim. I've definitely heard of spookier houses than this one.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. So pretty much any employee that has ever worked there can claim some kind of strange or paranormal event. But as far as I can tell, the Pittocks continue to be lovely people in the afterlife, and their ghostly presence is rarely seen as malicious.
Oh no, I would be like so excited. I'd be like, Grandma Portland, come over
Grandma
here.
Portland. Come here, Grandma Portland. So many who enter the Pittock Mansion say they can feel the elderly couple's presence immediately.
Ooh.
And maybe they just realized how crappy it was that they only got a few years in their home before passing. So they're just like, we're just going to stay.
We're going to stay here. We fucking built this. So.
We worked hard for this.
If we can't have it living, we're having it dead.
I would.
Yes, exactly. You've earned it.
Yes. Let's see. And from the haunting accounts I read, it seems as though the Pittocks are still going about their regular business, seemingly unaware that they're dead.
Yeah.
Or maybe they know they're dead and they're just enjoying showing off their beautiful house.
Or the residual energy kind of theory of just the energy's implanted because they work there all the time.
Yeah. You would think, well, I don't know, 4 years is still a good chunk of time. It doesn't seem like a super long time, but let's see. So people have seen windows closing and opening by themselves.
Ooh.
And then latching themselves.
Ooh, that's an
I don't like the latch part.
Detail.
It's creepy.
Okay.
Some have seen the apparition of an old woman whose feet don't touch the floor.
Oh.
Floating.
You floating?
She floats. Many have heard disembodied footsteps, always a favorite among ghosts. Some guests have even reported seeing a pair of boots stomping around with no person wearing them. Just
like physical boots or like a print of a boot?
No, like a floating pair of boots.
Oh my God. I don't know about that.
I know.
The man who stops to rest never gets anywhere.
So one woman claimed to see an old woman in an old-fashioned dress moving a portrait in one of the rooms in the mansion.
What color was the dress, do you know?
No, I don't know. A tour guide, like the lady in brown. Or,
right, the chocolatey dress, or we talked about the red and the white.
Shoot, I don't think they said what color her dress was. So a tour guide approached the guest and asked what she was looking at so closely, and the guest turned to the tour guide to respond, and she told her about the woman moving the portrait. But when she turned to gesture to the old woman, she was gone.
Oh my gosh, spooky oogie.
Ooh. The portrait she claimed to see being moved was a portrait of Henry Pittock, and many people who have worked in the mansion claim that the same portrait seems to move around the house with no one claiming to have moved it. So it just like appears in different rooms.
Mm-hmm. That's creepy.
The portrait will suddenly be hanging in another room, or others report seeing the portrait actually moving around on the wall by itself. Or it'll just fall off the wall.
There's also that.
It's a very active portrait. One woman claimed to have seen the reflection of an old woman looking at her in the glass of a framed painting.
Creepy.
Ew, I don't like that one. That one would make me pee. Some guests and employees claim to have seen shadowy human-like figures moving other objects from room to room, such as furniture and houseplants.
Okay.
Georgiana's like, damn it, if I have to move this fern one more time.
She got to water it. They keep forgetting.
Just gonna send those disembodied boots after you. I think it would be pretty creepy to work there.
Yeah, or be in it alone, whether it's haunted or not. It's just so big and eerie.
I know. Some of the employees said that they've encountered human-like figures already in the mansion when they go there to open it in the morning. Ooh. Nope. Another employee talked about an occasion where they would have to close the museum and they'd have to go through the whole place to turn off, each individual light switch.
Totally.
And then when they were all finally done, they'd go to walk to the exit to lock the door, and then all of the lights would switch back on.
That's a cruel joke, Ghost.
I know.
Do you know how long it takes to walk probably through all of that?
It's like 16,000 square feet.
Oh, it's so exhausting. Wow, that's creepy.
And I read accounts of Henry's personality, and many people said that he was always a kid at heart. Uh-huh. So I just like to think that he's just pranking people in the afterlife.
Yeah, I love that.
But still, you'd have to walk back through like the whole house again to turn
awful
all the lights again. And now you're in this haunted house and you know that there's a ghost around. Like,
oh, especially like,
and then it's dark and you have to, and like the way to get out of this place is like a long winding
path,
driveway, and
God,
the
terrifying.
Nothings. Some guests have suddenly smelled the unmistakable scent of rose perfume while walking through the upper story of the house. Although there are a bunch of rose bushes on the ground, so, who knows?
Can it travel that far?
I don't know. Maybe it's her perfume.
It's definitely Grandma Portland.
I'm very sure. There have been sightings of the couple and of the groundskeeper following the guests as they tour the grounds. And some guests claim to have felt their presence. Mm-hmm. Many have heard the sounds of the groundskeeper at work outside when no one else is around. The sounds of stomping boots and shovels digging dirt. Let's see. And then people entering like the side door, which is used by staff, even though there's no one there.
Okay.
But yeah, that's pretty much all of the paranormal activities I could scrape together.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to go there so bad.
We need to go there.
And yeah, I bet we have listeners that have been there or like know about it.
Oh, they have to. I mean, I know my cousin recently went there.
Because like also you can see like the witch's castle in that same like Forest Park area.
Oh yeah.
So that's a twofer.
Ooh, there's so many things around here really that are creepy and weird.
But I thought that was just like a really nice, heartwarming ghost story.
Because you love them and you want to see their ghosts.
Yeah, and they're like
they're good ghosts.
They're good ghosts and they did good stuff.
I want to see if I feel their presence when we ever get there.
Right?
It's gonna happen.
We do need to visit because like the virtual tour was just so stunning. Everything was so stunning
in person. I've been saying I miss I never really did it because I took advantage of pre-COVID life. But I enjoy going to like exhibits or museums and just like walking and looking at amazing shit.
I love old shit.
Yes,
my mom would love going to this place. She'd probably freak out.
We're gonna have to do it.
Yes.
Good one, Abby.
Thank you.
Look at us Oregon ones.
Yes, 2 Oregon ones in a row.
Fun.
We're vibing.
We are, as always, usually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are we going to do City of the Week?
City of the Week.
We got another one.
We got to play that jingle.
And that is Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey!
Georgia.
Hey, Georgia. I know that's where our good friend Rochelle lives.
Oh, that's right. Hey, boo.
Hey, boo boo.
I miss you.
I hope that's you reaching out. We see you. And we miss you. Thanks, Georgia. Thank you, Atlanta, for making us feel cool.
That's so cool.
Well, I don't think we have much else to talk about other than, we want to do a listener episode, so we have a couple stories and we would love some more.
Yeah, that way we can still like put out an episode to you guys during this like weird little break that we're doing.
Think of it as your donation to me as I get better.
Yeah, while she's healing, that's what you should do.
And yeah, that'll be fun. So send us those if you have them. anxiousandafraidthepod@gmail.com. And
I'll finish with the rest of the social medias.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I was just going to say, we're going to be on a spring break, so.
Technically, it is a spring break, yes.
Yep, only there's no Cancun.
There's no beaches. There's no fun.
Nope.
Thanks, COVID.
Thanks. Tell us the social medias.
Okay, find us at Instagram and Facebook at Anxious and Afraid the Pod. We're also on Twitter at AA the Pod. You can donate to patreon.com/anxious and afraid. Our website is anxiousandafraid.com. Everything's on the website. Everything's in the show notes. You can Google us. We should be the second link down from the real anxiety link that actually tries to help people.
We do the opposite
We
of that.
do the opposite of that. Those have our merch link, which we have some cute stuff and stickers. Please rate and subscribe. Send us emails, please, please, please. Anxious and Afraid, thepod@gmail.com, please. We are saying please.
Here I am begging you.
Begging you. Just like 1 or 2 or 3 more stories.
I swear, anything you send in, I'll be so proud of you.
It doesn't even, it's just like a little weird happening that happened to you. If you don't even think it's worth it, I'm telling you it's probably worth it.
Yeah, we'll love it. Do it.
Do it.
And do you have anything else?
No.
Well, we're going to miss you. And good up and good night. All right, these are my sources. Wikipedia.com, newspaperarchive.com, pittockmansion.org, onlyinyourstate.com, allthat'sinteresting.com, thoughtcatalog.com, oregonencyclopedia.org. Our music is by Broke for Free and Matt Edwards, and we are edited by Michael.
Anxious and Afraid is partnered with the Oracle Network.
You're such an alien.
Yeah, I probably have a condition. We're going to have my brain scanned. There's a lesion somewhere
Yes.
that, you know,
I think you're actually just an alien, is the thing.
there's a filter missing between my brain and my mouth.
I was thinking about that like days later, just so you know. Who did I marry? Are you a Russian spy or an alien?